Welcome everyone, A Guy Trying here, and we've recently received the first major information about Altered's fourth set, Skybound Odyssey. We were given a small teaser during the French WCQ, but the new article gave us all 6 new heroes and 5 additional card families. A link to the article is in the description if you want to check it out for yourself. So, let's get into it. Our first new hero is Isaree and Pebble, who creates an Aerolith token in your landmarks at noon if you are the first player. We haven't been shown the actual token yet, but there is a description in the hero text. It's a permanent that says, when I'm sacrificed, resupply, and exhaust and pay 1 to sacrifice me. I've said before I feel Axiom has been too split between permanent and reserve strategies, and this hero seems to be trying to bridge the gap. Note that Aerolith must be sacked in order to gain any benefit, and unlike Armor Jammer, does not do anything if you discard it during cleanup. For this reason, we'll want cards like Flawed Prototype and the Grems to synergize with Aeroliths. And this set is already bringing more sacrifice synergy to Axiom with Farfetch 2.0. When you play it from anywhere, you may sack a permanent to cast Hooked. The rare is cheaper, and the oof is unsurprisingly in Yzmir, giving Lindaway a little more help. Our next hero is actually the first hero from the set we saw, which makes sense since she wants to do everything first. Whenever you are the first to pass, she gains a quest counter. Then, if she has 3 or more, create a Halua token. While Soul has 5 or more quest counters, Halua has Gigantic. Normally in Altered, you want to be the last player to pass. That way you have the most information to base your plays off of and conceal the most from your opponents. This will make games with Soul rather interesting, because your opponent will either have to pass first, allowing you to play around them, or give you value on your hero power. That being said, not generating Halua until turn 3 at the earliest will hinder her, not to mention the fact it gives a lot of decision-making power to your opponent. She'll definitely need some support to keep her online and competitive. There are 2 main ways we'd hope to finish first. Obviously, the quickest option is to spend all our mana on one big play, like Halua Raging Leviathan. This is another version of our companion I believe from before Soul bonded with them, and is a good play if you're looking to use all your mana at once. Gigantic allows Raging Halua to combat both zones, so your opponent can't just put a small character in an open expedition. Tough makes it harder to remove, and the At Dusk will hopefully mess with your opponent's card advantage if they combat you. The rare makes it so it will not give itself fleeting with its At Dusk, and does allow you to discard supported to draw a card, with the rare oofing into Muna. If you can't spend all your mana on one play, you'll want to get all your other plays out as quickly as possible. The new keyword Rush will help with that, allowing you the choice to play another card immediately as a cost for some other effect. In the case of Bravo's Harpooner, you can rush another card to sabotage. The rare makes this ability on Arrow, and the oof is the rare in Lyra. If you can line it up right, you can even string rushes together to create a giant chain of cards in one play. You will still have to pay for whatever cards you rush in, but it'll help you pass faster for that quest counter. You're unable to augment Soul's quest counters, so a card that allowed you to increase them would help her greatly, and triggered passive abilities like Staff Clerk would be a great addition to give her some options after she's passed. I don't know if either of those will be in Skybound Odyssey, but I can hope. Nadir and Bubbles is our new Lyra hero, who start the game with 1 forest, 1 mountain, and 1 water terrain marker. At noon, they may place one of those markers on any visible region and overwrite the terrains there. Similar to Lyra Magic Beans, markers cause the affected region to lose all other terrains until the marker is removed. However, Magic Beans affects its expedition and the one facing it, while this targets a specific region on an adventure card. We don't know how markers are removed from expeditions or what happens to them when they do, but for a faction that was previously plagued with inconsistency, Nadir looks to alleviate that. You'll have the option to play around your 0-stat cards or mess up beneficial regions for your opponent. Cards like Will-o'-the-Wisp and Lost in the Woods can benefit from strategic placement of these markers. Even the new Koi Playful Leviathan will reward you for clever planning. If we compare it to Atlas, it's 1 less mana, but has a 0 in Mountain. It's just worse overall. But when used with these markers, you can look to ignore this glaring weakness. If you upgrade to the rare, you are further rewarded by drawing a card when Koi is played from hand if neither of its expeditions are in a mountain. The oof is a Bravos version of the common, since Bravos is the de facto gigantic faction. Our Muna hero, Kauri and Puff, introduces the faction's first token, getting to create a 1/1/1 at noon when they are the first player and... Wait. Gives it to the opponent? Come on, Muna. Stop giving everything away. Be a little selfish. At least you get to draw a card off your generosity, which is always nice. In all seriousness, I expect Kauri will play a more controlling game plan with helpful additions from Whispers, like the Little Mouse and Requiem. Currently, we only really have Pasiphae that interacts with giving our opponent a character in any positive way, but I think a good amount of cards in Skybound will be targeting this playstyle. Cards like Armored Bird, which is a powerful option to outstat Woolly Backs, and the rare even loses Defender when it's up against 2 or more characters. The oof is the rare transferred into Ordis. We'll need to see some strong payoff for this style, because it may just be a 1/1/1 token you're giving away, but tell that to Sigismar. Speaking of Ordis, Zhen and Zephyr are here to raise our gameplay to a whole new level. At noon, if you're the first player, your hero expedition ascends. This is a new keyword that affects expeditions and allows the player to move forward in that expedition even if it's tied in its regions. Then, when one or more of your ascended expeditions moves forward, if there is no character facing it, draw a card. We don't currently know if you are still able to advance in an ascended expedition at 0 in all relevant regions that's going against an empty expedition. But if you can, then I think Zhen will rely heavily on Ordis' strong removal suite to try to advance off of empty expeditions as much as they can. If not, we'll have to rely on some 1-drops or tokens to ensure the advance. But where will we find those in Ordis? Also, unlike Rin, this does not treat each individual advancement as a separate trigger. If you are able to ascend both your hero and companion expeditions and advance in each, you'll still only draw 1 card. If you are able to use Grand Endeavor though, you could advance once during noon to draw a card and then still draw another card later. We haven't been given any other cards from Ordis yet, so between the ruling question and lack of context within the set, it's hard to say right now exactly where Zhen will end up, but I'm definitely curious to find out. And last but not least, we have Moyo and Silk. I believe Moyo is the Yzmir Mothbreeder, which is our first time seeing a previously unnamed character become a hero. We've seen an Ordis Recruit become Sinisa, and Bravo's Vanguard become Aoife, but now the floodgates are open to potentially see other characters in the future become heroes. But onto the card itself. When you play a spell with base cost 4 or more, you may exhaust Moyo to create a mana moth in your hero expedition. If it was 7 or more, also draw a card. This feels like Yzmir's version of Isaree, and currently I'm not sure how much payoff there is to differentiate Moyo from Akesha in terms of late game, but we also haven't been shown any other Yzmir cards yet. The interesting thing about Moyo is that they say base cost instead of hand cost. This is the first time we've seen that distinction, which seems to suggest that cards like Off You Go will not proc from hand, but the 4 reserve costs will proc it when played from reserve. I'm curious to see if this will appear on more cards or if it'll be a rarity. Which brings us to the products themselves. Booster packs are still 12 cards and a token, with boxes containing 36 packs. Equinox has heard community feedback that pack opening should be more exciting, with many reminiscing about golden packs from Kickstarter boxes. So, each pack in Skybound Odyssey will have a 1 in 200 chance to be a special booster that contains 6 rares, 6 uniques, and 1 foiler. In addition, pre-release kits will still have 7 packs in them, but each will come with a guaranteed unique, a first player token, a set of premium adventure cards, a deck building guide for sealed, and a set of punch-out markers so everything you need is right there in the box. And that's everything we've been shown so far, but there are still 97 card families to be shown. I don't know how Equinox are planning on running the reveal season for this set, but I have a link to my spreadsheet in the description that will keep as up to date as possible with all the cards shown so far and where you can go to find reveals happening soon. This is a small but passionate community, so when content creators receive spoiler cards, please take some time to support them. There's also a link to alteredtcg.blog spoiler page if you want to use that. Thanks everyone for watching. I hope you found this helpful in some way. If you did, feel free to like and subscribe. But if you made it this far, just know that I'm happy you stayed with me this long. While year 2 of Altered is definitely exciting, that doesn't mean we're done with Whispers from the Maze. I have a video that's almost done discussing the announcement of this season's Tumult Championships, as well as a super fun Arak and Kibble deck. What do you think of everything we've seen so far from Skybound, and what are you still excited for in the Whispers season? Let me know. That's all for now, but I hope we see each other again.